Hello and warm welcomes to everyone. Thank you so much for being part of the Genius community. This is Dr. Ariel Policano, and I'm bringing you our weekly support call along with case analysis and an opportunity to ask your questions about the Genius. I'm here every week, so if you're signed up for the class, then you can join me every week. It doesn't matter if you've had the Genius for a month or a year, or if you're still interested in learning more about the Genius. Everyone is welcome, and anyone can volunteer for a scan. If you want to volunteer, go ahead and send me your date of birth and make sure I have your name there that you signed in with, that you'd like that name. All right, and good morning to a lot of the longtime peeps that have been here. I really, really appreciate it. Angie, thank you so much. Birgit, hopefully we can reinvigorate our quest to do a German webinar. I really look forward to that opportunity. Marianne, welcome. I want to welcome Nishanto. Nishanto, welcome and thanks for being here. Penny is here. I think, Penny, you might be coming from the UK. Warm welcome to you. And Ty, welcome. Thanks for being here. Sarita, checking in from Southern California. Kathy's joining us. Maybe anywhere in the world Kathy might be, but she's originally from the Pacific Northwest. So thanks everyone for being here. Victoria T, thanks so much. So you guys, the best way that you can just show, that you appreciate the weekly classes is send people to my website, awakentotalhealth.com. At awakentotalhealth.com, they'll get the opportunity to download the trial, and they'll get familiar with all of my offerings on the page there at awakentotalhealth.com. I really do appreciate your referrals, so if you're not part of my affiliate program, be part of my affiliate program. This week, I'm hoping to get some information out about some incentives I have for the affiliates, and I want to give you guys better resources, better links, better videos, better promotions for all of you to make everything easier for you to promote the Genius and what we do here. So I just thank you tremendously for all that you do. And we just have some wonderful people who have helped to spread the word of what we're doing with the Genius, and also my work. A lot of the proprietary files that make it possible for you to use this piece of equipment as if you were using one of the very expensive $20,000 or $30,000 machines. So when people get my Platinum program, which includes the 200 testing panels, they do receive all those panels, and it makes it really much easier for them to test themselves in a very dynamic way, in a way that they often have to pay $20,000, $30,000 to get that same ability to test in the different areas and get a very global view. We're going to be starting with Jessica. I think she may not have arrived yet, so I just wanted to talk to you. Some of you follow me on Facebook, and I wanted to do a little testing of my aunt. I posted that she's really a first-generation immigrant, and she's significantly older than my mother, actually, almost like my grandmother. And so she's in her 90s, and she switched from her regular standard American diet to eating a plant-based diet, which was quite amazing. So really about 6 days out of the week, she eats completely plant-based. And then I hear little pieces here and there that she did have a little bit of fish, or she did have a little bit of chicken. But for the most part, she's remained plant-based. And she has cut out all of the eggs and eats a lot of things that she used to eat when she lived as a girl in southern Italy. So she's gone back to more of the beans and the escarole and things like that. She's managed to drop her cholesterol significantly. And so she's been able to remain off of a statin, but she's had lots of cardiovascular issues over her life. I think this valve thing is so sort of across the Western population that people have leaky valves. And I think it's just deconditioning, you guys. I think it's years of spent not exercising properly and stressing the heart. So I think she was fairly sedentary in her life. So I think that's part of the valve issue that we see in a lot of people, and the calcification. One of the issues that she has, one of the mistakes I feel that she's made in her life that she didn't know any better, is taking calcium supplements. So she's been very religious about taking calcium supplements, very disciplined, unfortunately, I think to her detriment. So even this level of calcification, taking it in daily in such a way that it's not biologically available, we know from the British Medical Journal, two different citations that showed that taking calcium supplements has negative effects and is more likely to result in heart disease. So my aunt called me and said that she's having some really bad swelling in her right foot. So I'm going to do a little bit of testing, and then I just want to continue to talk at the same time, look at her heart, and then we'll get to Jessica, and then we'll get to anybody else who wants to volunteer. Also, if you're volunteering, tell me what you want to work on today. Give me an idea of what you want to work on. So when something is one-sided, it's unilateral versus bilateral. We tend to not think that it's as systemic. Although with the heart, you're looking for things that are more left-sided. So the left side of the heart is really like where all of the stroke volume is in order to send blood around the body. That's the most essential part of the heart function. So when we see something that's right-sided, to me, right-sided doesn't indicate as much systemic heart or kidney involvement. But I do have a feeling that when she goes to the doctor today, they're pretty much going to prescribe a diuretic just out of hand. But let's look about for this 90, I'm just losing track a little bit. She's maybe 92 or 93 years young. Okay, so she's definitely a 7 on the immune system is something that catches my eye, and we don't know what's going on there. She was concerned that it might have been an infection. So that's something that certainly could be one-sided. Something going on with the brain. This is definitely something that I've noticed talking to her. Her cognition has been spot on for a while, but recently I'm not getting the same type of engagement with her. So I am concerned about that. I sent her some vinpocetine, which is a wonderful Ayurvedic herb to increase the circulation in the brain and help to preserve the cognitive functions of the brain, but I'm not sure she's taking it all the time. Her main issues are going to be related to the functioning of the heart, which may have been from deconditioning, not enough exercise, of course, the product of age, and probably the product of improper nutrition over the years, not enough magnesium, not enough green leafy vegetables. What green leafy vegetables do is they feed the endothelium of the heart, the lining, sorry, of the blood vessels, and they create more nitric oxide. Okay, eat green, get lean. Try to incorporate more greens into your food plan. Remember the Victoria Butenko, the people in her study, her small study, took in 1 quart of green smoothies every day, and they could do whatever else they wanted throughout the day, but cholesterol got better, blood pressure got better, more nitric oxide. They lost significant amounts of weight. Greens have a lot of different functions. They really help the liver. So she's got this brain and immune stuff, and then we see the heavy metals. I'm not sure where the heavy metals come from, but as you age, if you have any lead in your body, as you lose bone density, unfortunately, this lead can mobilize from the bone into the blood because you're losing bone. As the bone starts to give up its structure, it releases what's in the bone, which is the lead. We do see some emotional borderline stuff, and we definitely see the cardiovascular. we see an underlying virus. It's probably Epstein-Barr or cytomegalovirus. And you can check this by tapping right here on virus, so sort of a left side swipe, right? And then you go to Entangled Insights. And in fact, you can just bring that particular one up. I think it's going to be virus and is not Epstein-Barr here. Then it's going to be, let me just try one more. I know it's EBV is also how there it is. It's also under EBV, so you could use it under just the initials EBV. It's been double entered into the system. So there's the Epstein-Barr virus. Let's just see if there is a connection here. Epstein-Barr virus, very small connection, not so much, but let's include it anyway. And let's check another common one, which would be the cytomegalovirus. These are some of the really popular viruses in the world today that when people seem to lose ground with their immune system, that this seems to take over. And it may indicate that we have this to some degree anyway, and when we get out of balance, it sort of takes over. So not cytomegalovirus. And one more thing, although bacteria doesn't come up as much, one thing that I wanted to, I want to look at Lyme, bacteria. Let's just check the different streps and see if we can come up with strep and staph. Of course, this would have to do with the heart itself. If there was an infection in the heart, it could be a strep infection. So let's just take a quick look at that. It's very, very likely that there's some type of underlying infection. Another one that this one says, even less connection there. And there's just one more I want to look at. I'm not even sure if it's actually here, which is H. pylori. I don't even remember if it's in the database. It doesn't look like it is, but it is in my panel, so we can look at those as well. Okay, so let's continue on. I just want to see what else is going on here, and then I want to proceed. So, of course, every illness is preceded by something going wrong in the digestive system. There's the large intestine, there's the gallbladder. You guys, I see so much large intestine, small intestine, gallbladder, liver. I gotta say that I think we should just close all of the doctor's offices, or before you go to the doctor, you have to get 6 or maybe even just 3 colonics. I know that sounds totally crazy, but I'm sure that Karen, our wonderful healer from Canada, would agree. I mean, there are just so many illnesses that are caused by the overload and the overflow in the gallbladder and the liver. And our bodies, we just don't do the practices that we would need to do, like daily Tai Chi or Qigong. And we're just overwhelmed by the level of toxicity. The body's just not capable. So if you have a colon therapist close to you and you can get even 1 colonic, then try it. See how you feel afterwards. It's like a necessity in today's world. Now, under the organs, I almost expect kidney is going to be one of the #1 things. Let's see what happens. She's had high blood pressure for years and unfortunately is on about 3 blood pressure medications. Wow, you can't make that up, can you? So the kidneys are probably the reason that she has high blood pressure, and this should have been treated at the level of the kidney a long time ago. She probably never needed blood pressure medication and now is on 3 of them, and all of them have repercussions. So, having a diuretic means that you're peeing out minerals that you really need, maybe like calcium and magnesium that you actually really need. In fact, there are so many weird things about medications that are supposed to resolve the symptom that seem to actually make everything so much worse. And it makes sense when you really try to affect one part of the body without dealing with the root cause that would happen. For example, when you take a statin drug, you will severely deplete coenzyme Q10. And that severe depletion of coenzyme Q10 is a direct disadvantage to the heart. It really threatens the heart. So I think if she had gotten proper care for the kidneys years ago, this would have been helped her high blood pressure. And this is something that runs in my family, and I've seen the signs of kidney imbalance in her and in my mother, and I have to be very, very careful about really tending to my kidneys. So this is something you can also recognize in familial patterns. So there's that liver again. If only we had a colonic machine available, where she is. We've got the brain coming up. We see that consistency in the testing where that brain came up before, and the eyes, the stomach, the digestive system. So some good information here to work on. Let's go to those, let's just see what's going on with these neurotransmitters, and then we're going to go to the heart because I am concerned about her cognitive function. The GABA is out of balance. This is usually attention deficit. The norepinephrine, probably very, very low in cortisol. If you suspect you're low in epinephrine or norepinephrine, you may want to try licorice to try to bring up your cortisol levels. You may want to also look at tyrosine. Tyrosine helps to improve epinephrine and norepinephrine, but it's all adrenal function, you guys. So if your adrenals are weak, you're going to try to overcompensate with epinephrine and norepinephrine in the morning. Licorice is an herb that is used in nearly every Chinese medicine formulation. So have some licorice tea in the morning. You can just get some whole licorice and then boil it and take maybe a cupful or half a cup of that licorice tea in the morning will help to revitalize your cortisol levels. It helps the adrenal, and it's also antiviral. It has many, many good functions to it. So now let's go ahead and go to those libraries and let's look at what's going on with the heart and with the blood pressure. See if we can get any kind of there we go, pH solutions. That's really, really interesting. Let's just see what's going on here. Probably also if she had alkalized a long time ago, things would be much better. There's the need. It's interesting. This isn't that high, but magnesium and potassium, you guys, are the two top herbs, supplements used in Germany. They will prescribe magnesium and potassium all day long. Their last prescription is for the blood pressure medication itself. So magnesium and potassium are used constantly as a way to lower blood pressure. Now let's go ahead and just type in the word heart. And let's just look at heart assessment. We know she has arrhythmia. We know she has valve issues. So let's see if any of those come up. Whew, this is not good. So cardiomegaly, that's an enlarged heart. Wow, it looks like heavy metals have affected her heart in some way. That's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if she still has silver filling. She has no education, unfortunately, about mercury toxicity. She doesn't really have that awareness or knows what to do about it. Hypertension, there you go. That's what we were talking about. Atherosclerosis and toxicity exposure, that could be the heavy metals. Inflammation, homocysteine is high, probably not enough B vitamins. Magnesium deficiency, borderline atrial fibrillation, borderline potassium deficiency. So, if you have this is your client, there's a lot you can do, you guys. I don't sometimes emphasize this enough, but even just running those frequencies for 3 minutes will begin to shift and change the energy field. It is very powerful. People will feel better. People will have those miraculous healings. So even if we just stopped right here and we didn't do any more, it would be a very powerful healing. Let's do a few more things, see if we can understand a little bit more about what's going on here. Let's look at the affirmations. It's an interesting contemplation when you're working on someone long distance, and even if you're working on someone when they're not there, which you can also do what I call like an asynchronous session. There is something that happens even as you gain a better understanding and you even empathize and understand the person as a healer on a deeper level. You're part of the equation. It's like you're opening your awareness, sharing the information with them, that's part of the whole process. It actually makes it more effective. So the more that you're present, and even if you don't understand medicine, as you focus on these words, there is a part of you that understands them. And of course, you can take my classes and look this information up on Google. I approach life from a loving perspective. My vessels dilate for optimal flow and circulation. She really needs those greens. And arginine, you guys, arginine is a very, very good sort of resolving the symptoms. If you have high blood pressure, if you have the buildup of atherosclerosis, arginine helps you to create that nitric oxide. So if you need something that's stronger than just starting with the greens, you need to get that blood pressure down, try arginine. So a lot of this is due to kidney function. What's happening to kidney function today? Let me tell you what my viewpoint is, and then I'll check in with Karen, see how we're doing on our next person here. I can see why she's having these issues. Definitely the heart is compromised. But you guys, we're seeing a lot more kidney failure. We're seeing a lot more kidney cancer. My take on what's going on with the kidneys is loneliness. That's interesting because she lives alone and her husband passed away at 94 about 3 years ago, and she's just been living on her own in that same condo, in her 90s. Fear and maybe some anger. So that's enough to kind of dial everything in with the progressive insights. So the kidneys, if you eat a high protein diet, if you try to get your protein 3 times a day, perhaps if you're eating a ketogenic diet, you have to be very careful. Those meat-based foods and dairy have a huge impact on the kidneys. They take a toll on the kidneys. If you eat these types of foods, please go and have blood work done and monitor your kidneys, or monitor them energetically with the Genius. It's also a factor of your stress level. Do you relax? Do you take time for relaxation? Because that's also affecting your cortisol levels, which is in turn affecting the flow of minerals from your body. So high stress, but salt. You guys be very careful with salt. Don't believe everything you read on the internet that sea salt is going to save your life. Be very careful. If you have sensitive kidneys, I would maybe put the sea salt into synergistics and see how it resonates with you. But salt is sea salt or Himalayan salt. It's not really a complete mineral, you guys. It's like 98% sodium chloride. So if you feel you need more sodium chloride, then definitely take that sodium chloride. But I don't think we have good evidence that these types of salts do not ultimately injure the kidneys. So be very, very careful. Really, really research that information. Do you really have a pressing need for salt? Maybe a small amount. But in the raw food community circles that I used to sort of dance in, it was really like salt's going to save your life. You should eat, get salt in all of your salads. And I don't think that really served me personally. And of course, caffeinated beverages. If you like a good espresso, coffee and so forth, these things are going to stress the kidneys over time. So the best thing that you can do is let them go, is to not have caffeinated beverages, to have the least amount of salt, and to eat as many plant-based foods as possible. You don't need a lot of protein. There's never been an established human need that you need to take in high density protein. If you eat rice and a good amount of calories, unless you're deficient in calories, you guys, there's no way to get a protein deficiency. It's been one of the biggest myths going. So it's really, really important to understand that. Okay, so we've been balancing her, harmonizing her for a couple of minutes, and we did see that liver and magnesium. So a heart issue, a swelling issue, especially that bloated belly that you see in people sort of as they age, all of a sudden they've got that tummy. Part of that is a liver toxicity issue. So let's just look at the aura and then we'll switch and move on. But I do think this is still that she needs more minerals. She needs some good supplements for the heart, but I don't think her injury is necessarily due to the heart condition, or her right-sided swelling is due to a heart condition. I think she just maybe injured herself. So this looks very, very good, very receptive to the energy. And let's just see how we're doing with our other folks here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me I just want to do one last check here and see if there's anything that I can sort of assess. Yeah, I think at this point, this is the best that I can do. I'm really just left with, we need to work on that magnesium, that alkalizing. We need to keep working on the heart. We need to keep working on the kidneys. Okay, so let's move on then. We've got our second person. That's going to be Jessica. I'm going to just stop the feed for a second so you guys will just see the intro there. And I just want to bring up her information, which I've entered previously. And there we go. And we'll maybe talk with her live and see how she's doing. So I think I'm going to unmute for Karen, and we'll get to talk to Jessica. Hi, ladies. How are you doing?
Oh, we're excited. How are you doing and having fun?
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm good. Hi.
Good. Okay. Well, Jessica, why don't we, let me just undo my microphone here so we can hear you. Jessica, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, let's go ahead and get your voice recording. So I'm going to have you say your name and then keep repeating the vowels A, E, I, O, U. I'll cue you to start in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
Jessica Vivian Valois. A-E-I-O-U. A-E-I-O-U.
Say it in French.
A-E-O-E.
Perfect. And we have the picture already entered here that we received. Oh, darn. I think I recorded over this. Okay, let me just have you do it one more time. You can do it in those beautiful vowels that you just did. I don't know how I managed to screw this up, but I'll go ahead. Let's just do one more recording in 3, 2, 1. Go right ahead.
Jessica Vivian Valois. A-E-I-O-U. A-E-I-O-U. A-E-O-U. A-E-I-O-U.
Okay, I did a little better there. So Jessica, tell us a little bit about what's going on and what we should focus on.
Well, currently I'm struggling to recover from a pinched nerve in my neck that happened in February, and I am still icing daily and struggling just to maintain function. You know, like shoulder checking, turning around. I have to use my whole body. I'm not healing quickly enough. I'm on some medication that I'd like to come off of. I've progressively come off of some of it by going on to a medical marijuana prescription. I've been taking some CBD oil. That's been helping, but I have digestive issues and photosensitivity and sound sensitivity. A lot of that, I believe, is a result of a head trauma I endured in 2004 in a rollerblading accident. I fractured my skull twice, and that was kind of the beginning of the last decade of dealing with depression and anxiety and a plethora of mental health issues.
Well, you know, an injury to the head has a lot of implications.
Yeah, I fractured the temporal and occipital lobes.
Well, you've really been through a lot for such a young person.
Yes, I'm
That's
a survivor.
amazing.
Positive things you've done.
Yeah, all the positive things. I mean, like my parents are colon hydrotherapists, so I grew up. I've known Karen for a very long time. She trained with my father, so I've got a lot of knowledge and tools in my disposition, but life gets in the way, and just this system of mine that's not healing. I've been doing some laser therapy on my neck, and some self massage, a little bit of enemas, doing some tri-salt mixes, really trying to turn things around.
Well, big praises to you. Well, let's see what we find on the scan. And are you thinking about using the Genius as a way, also an adjunct to help to heal yourself?
Yes, I would really love to continue to experiment with the tool. I'm not technologically super savvy, so I've only recently gotten a new phone that'll fit the new upgrade. Like my old phone just wasn't doing it. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow I'll have time to go to the store and do that. And then
Okay.
I'd love to get the app.
Okay, that's great. Well, let's keep talking and working. I know you're there. Karen's giving you a lot of coaching, and so let's check in this week and see how things are going.
That sounds amazing.
All right.
Really,
Well, I'm gonna work on you right now, and we'll see what we
sure.
see and come back and talk to you afterwards.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So as I was talking, I was doing some preliminary scanning since this is a short, hour, and I see a lot of B vitamin need, which I think could really help. Maybe, we like to use Max B and D, which is a Premier Research product because it's a food-based form of vitamin B, but really getting your ferments in, those are going to carry a lot of B vitamins as well. And you really don't see people using the Rejuvelac. It's something we kind of need a resurgence of, but it's like a fermented grain beverage. And that had a lot of really great B vitamins because they came from the grains. Grains, people are avoiding grains. I mean, when I see things like there's a documentary on Netflix, I haven't watched it, about ketogenic diets, I kind of just, the expression like SMH, I just get so concerned for people, although, potentially anything could work for anyone if they have the frequency check in correctly. Like if they have that really, really intention to get well, almost any diet can work for you. But when people are avoiding grains at such great lengths, which grains in, not talking maybe about gluten, but every other grain like rice or millet or amaranth, they have a huge amount of upsides, you guys. They have a huge plethora of B vitamins. They have a huge amount of minerals in them, and they provide a great deal of fiber. So there's a lot of upside and there's a lot of danger, I think, in completely avoiding them. A well-rounded diet, if you listen to what I say and you say that's compelling what she says about plant-based, but I want to have a little bit of meat in my diet. Well, if you have a celebration once a week where you have some chicken or some fish, I think that you're going to be fine. It's the idea that you need to eat it every day. So any imbalance in your diet, any extreme, could potentially be harmful, and especially is true with a ketogenic plan where you're really forsaking all of those healthy natural forms of carbohydrate. So there's a great need here for B vitamins. That's what I see right there, and I've included those. I really find it interesting that the organs and the glands both contain some deficiency. I'm extremely concerned that this head injury has led to a lot of repercussions down the road. One of the things that we really should get our sort of huddle about with Karen is doing some mud packs, or as we call them, mud packs or clay packs, in order to resolve what potentially was some interference fields. These interference fields from a severe or even mild injury, especially one to the head, can have effects on the whole meridian system related to where the injury occurred. We also can use lasers to some degree to clear those interference fields, like a green laser, but some of these medicinal clays would probably do a world of good. So I have some concerns that depression may not be that you're a person who's tends to, even genetically was tending towards depression, or maybe that was true, but the head injury kind of made the whole thing a bit more exaggerated, or there may have never been a proclivity towards depression, but the head injury changed the neurotransmitters. So we see neurotransmitters do come up at a 401. They don't seem to be that concerning. Let's just, for the heck of it, let's just look at what comes up here. We see some epinephrine. This could be that adrenal imbalance I was talking about. GABA at 28. So GABA helps to calm the mind down. A really easy fix for that is L-theanine, which is a constituent of green tea, and a good product for that is from a company called Allergy Research Group. They have a product called Zen, which is essentially L-theanine. Taking GABA directly doesn't usually do the trick because that GABA, we find, may not cross the blood-brain barrier. So there's that issue with the brain. There's some acidity going on. This could be from the injury, the most recent injury that she's had, which also probably created an interference field. So I also wanted to look at spinal energy. Again, doesn't come up very, very high, but there would have to be some, when you have someone who's had this, level of injury, and there you go, there it is. You always want to use the spinal energy because it will facilitate their healing a lot faster by including it. The spinal energy is actually a very powerful panel to use, and one that we probably should use for everyone, but in particular people who tell you, I fell, I had a recent injury, I had a long-term injury, I had an injury to the head. All of these things, we want to get the spinal nerves in order. And so many things come off of the spinal nerves. They reach out to all the muscles and organs of the body. So we've got some neck issues, not a surprise, and we've got some thoracic issues, so mid-back issues. So we definitely want to include those, and we can go all the way up to 600. So all the way down to 600. So we can include L2, and we can kind of look at the whole pattern. We see a lot of lumbar stuff. We see a lot of neck stuff. And often those are compensating patterns. If the neck goes out, then the lumbar kind of goes out because it becomes compensatory. It tries to come in and compensate in the lower back for problems in the neck. So that's really important to include. Then we go to some of the spiritual protection just sort of leaps out at us, We see the 727. It's sort of one of the very few red things that we're seeing here, right? We see lots of depletion in the glands and the organs. It just makes me wonder that since the injury, there's been like a lot of efforting to sort of, overcome what's happening, what happened, which would make a lot of sense. And then we do see the digestion. So let's get that one. We included that one with the stomach as I was talking. And then the meridians also sort of shout out there. We looked at the aura, not too much that we're really seeing going on with the aura. She's had a lot of work going on with Karen's really been helping her, but we do see sort of this blockage right here. So that's kind of interesting. And spiritual protection. Now, I always sort of am resistant to do any type of spiritual protection when people are looking at it because I don't want them to get freaked out. That said, releasing attachments, okay, that's always really important. Down here, we've got the need for grounding. Makes sense. Everybody, doing a little bit of meditation and getting your feet on the earth, taking some time to really get grounded would make a lot of sense. Dark forces, entities. I am not a huge subscriber to this whole line of thinking. I think everything ultimately comes from within. However, it does tell us that maybe we need some spiritual strengthening, or we need to use some positive affirmations. The only reason that these entities or dark forces could show up is it's often a product of what we're telling ourselves, the words we're saying to ourselves. In fact, I've really been contemplating the idea of aging. So, why do we age? Some people age fast, some people age slower. One of the pieces I want you to think about is that a person, how they age, is a product of the words they have said about themselves, the words that they have said about others. So, all of those words, the energy, the vibration, is a vibration that is within their system, that is part of their whole equation. So the words that you say can either lift up your spirit, or they can bring it down. So if you're saying certainly negative things about yourself, then this can, be the reason that you see some of these numbers come up in spiritual protection. It's not enough in today's world to really say like, oh, these outer forces are coming and hurting me. No, it's always it's an engagement, you guys, no matter what those forces are, and we can always overcome them through our positive words, through our entraining positive energies, through all of the things that we are doing, that you are doing very, very actively. So then let's just look one more time. The meridians looked like a very good place to look at 137. So the pericardium meridian and the stomach meridian. So anything that Jessica does to probably improve her digestion, to help to improve the colonics and enemas and things that she's doing, the better food, eating, healing the digestive system will help with everything else. So let's go to some of the custom libraries and just do a little bit more of the brain testing. We also have the interference field panels, and we can look at those as well. Sometimes they're not as precise as I want them to be. Assemblage point brain lobe circuits. You guys, you may want to get that assemblage point class. Putting these brain circuits back into place is very, very helpful. The oh yeah, quite a bit of them. Okay, so let's get all of those in there. The brain circuits are related to the appropriate placement of the assemblage point right around the heart. And when you've experienced a severe injury or a severe emotional trauma, the assemblage point often moves out of place. So working with these assemblage point panels can be really powerful. Let's actually I wanted to look more at the brain assessment to see what was going on in the brain. And you can see that some of that brain stuff is, here it's in blue. Let's just look at the brain assessment and see what we can learn here. Okay, so we've got some neurotransmitters that are out of balance. We've got that need for nitric oxide, so that really lots of greens will be very beneficial. There's that serotonin need, and she talked about the depression. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This is derived from vigorous exercise. So usually good high intensity, a sprint or a quick cycle, or maybe some really weightlifting at a level that's just a little bit higher than feels comfortable for like 30 seconds. You don't have to, be going to the CrossFit Games. It doesn't have to be that dramatic, but something that stresses the body. This, like a quick sprint or a jog, all these things seem to, a jog is not high intensity, but something that gets the heart going will tend to help this brain-derived neurotrophic factor to be produced. And especially exercise in the morning seems to help this BDNF. There's that GABA again. So I don't see exactly, the issue that I'm looking for, but I do see some stress and strain to the brain. This gives us some words that help with the brain in this brain balancing. Let's see what's down at the bottom. Harmonizing the brain. It doesn't tell us anything in particular. There's just one more that I want to look at, which is the brain. Is it brain solutions? I think it's brain solutions. Brain solutions and brain treatment. This is more brain solutions, what we need to do to actually improve the brain. So we need some insulin balancing. That could be from stress. We need to avoid gluten big time, and we need to balance the digestive system. We need more oxygen saturation, so yoga, tai chi, inverted postures, breathing exercises. We need to, there is some inflammation. Let's go back to that interference field. This can over-report, but let's just see what it tells us about the interference fields in the body. Interference field assessment. This is part of like that set of 200 that I talked about that most of you, a lot of my peeps have gotten with their platinum package. Tooth, right toe, neck. This is the one I would definitely think is very, very important. It talks a lot about the toes. Wasn't the injury, or like, was there a fall? You guys have to remind me, but there's like a lot of left and right toe stuff coming up, so we'll have to find out what that's all about. And then let's just go down to the bottom here. Knee, right? That's, I think, related to the injury. Right ear, right hand. So out of all the things that come up, you guys are going to have to sort of put some of this picture together. It's very likely we have lots and lots of interference fields all over the body, because think about all the times you stubbed your toe, you tripped, you did this. I mean, so this isn't really that it's over-reporting, but it's telling us a lot of things that we've forgotten about. It's up to you to find the ones that are really, really significant. We probably want to get that vaccination site. Tonsils interference field, that's kind of interesting. So that's good. Anything under 200 is fair game. So let's now go to the progressive insights, and let's see of all of these things what comes up as the most important. Right hand interference field, vitamin B1. Now, vitamin B1 is very, very important for good cognitive function. And Jessica's pretty young, but we're really looking and researching a form for people who are more in middle age, but it may be from the stresses that she's experienced that it may be a good supplement for her too. And we're looking at this in a form of B1 that's more fat soluble, called benfotiamine. Benfotiamine. So BENFOTI. I lost my place there. So benfotiamine, M-I-N-E, that's where I was. Benfotiamine. I'm going to send that in the chat here. So then she's got the phenylethylamine, so there's some neurotransmitter imbalance. Insulin, keep working on the diet, the good coaching that you're getting from Karen. Vitamin E, that may have to do with circulation. Th2, neck interference field. So we probably want to talk to you about how to mud pack that injury that you received, the one that involves the head, and talk a little bit about that. Okay, so let's set this for 3 minutes. We're going to recheck the aura. We want to check in and see how this information is landing with Jessica, but let's go ahead and let's go with some of your comments. Now, Liza, who's an expert in these interference fields, she says toes can be jammed. Toes can be jammed emotions from the head injury, and those those emotions are trying to exit through the feet. We talk about those feet and hands as being the download areas. And it's important to clear the downloads. I think we need a new class really on doing mud packs and clearing interference fields. Because as people age, have you noticed like the hands also, sometimes you see the swelling in the hands? That is a lot of people are pushing toxins from the center of the body, from the core of the body, into the extremities. And that's why one of the mud packs that we do first is to the download areas, the feet and the hands. So it's interesting, again, Liza said toes can be jammed emotions or jammed with emotions from the head injury. That's absolutely great, very, very, very good. And Kathy's given us some instructions on the procedure of mud packing. Needs to be mud the bottom of the feet, toes, not downloading, cannot flow energy. I think that's what I was just starting to say. That's awesome. Okay, and John says craniosacral will unwind the traumatized connective tissue. That's a good suggestion. And Anthony says, any extra package? Yes, Anthony, get in touch with me about the 200 package, and especially if you're a recent purchase, I have some good news for you. So just shoot me a message on my website. Just go to my website, awakentotalhealth.com, hit contact us, and let's just have a big chat, a good chat. So heard arginine not great after a certain age. So the better comment, Kathy, even though it's a great comment, is what is that comment based on? Where is some of that evidence? Is it because of arginine's effect on the kidneys? And what dose is not recommended? Would be nice to add a topic to Entangled Insights instantly. Yeah, I mean, you can certainly suggest that to Ryan. We've suggested that for a while. That's not going to happen anytime soon, so your best bet is to create custom categories. Just so you know, licorice, even candy, can raise blood pressure, and TCM herbs are always balanced, and even then it can cause an issue. Thank you, PT. Somehow I'm not able to find the libraries. Yeah, Anthony, shoot me a message and I can help you with that. So you've had a great positive response here, Jessica. That's good. Let's go ahead and retest the aura. And go ahead here. When you mentioned high histamine, you said she needed more B vitamins. What is the link between the two? I have high histamine sometimes. Oh, I actually didn't say high histamine for her. But there's a lot to talk about with histamine. So this is almost like a reset. It's like she's sort of clearing the deck here and just sort of maybe new information coming in, or there's just sort of a reset happening here. And it looks good. We cleared this area right over here, so that's wonderful. Let's go back and do a quick reshuffle here. What about the warnings about licorice? So you guys, everybody has an opinion, and I honor everyone's opinion. So what are the causes of high blood pressure? Their lifestyle causes. If your cortisol is totally crashed out, is there a detriment to using licorice? That is an answer you're going to have to provide for yourself. I feel very comfortable recommending it to people unless they have very high blood pressure. There's so many things to consider. If your adrenals are totally bottoming out, let me tell you, licorice is not a bad thing. Some of our practitioners are going to prescribe many stronger things by thousands of increments in the terms of like cortisol replacement. I don't find in my practice that licorice has ever led to totally overwhelming blood pressure for the majority of my patients. However, you should consult with your naturopath, chiropractor, holistic health practitioner if you are concerned. Everybody has an opinion. That practitioner should do exactly as they see fit to do. I personally don't see a problem with it. So it's interesting. It says the tonsil interference field, the first brain circuit for the assemblage point, the need to harmonize the brain. There's a tremendous and compelling case to be made here that this whole case is focused, or the focal point is making that brain better in so many ways, but continuing to tend to the brain, making sure that the interference field is resolved, making sure that the neurotransmitters are functioning well. And you can see this in some of the things that are coming up. But there are many things that lead to that. So making sure that your digestion is healed helps your brain to be better. Helping to clear the interference field helps the brain to be better. Helping to take some supportive herbs, some B vitamins, all of these things can help that brain function to be better, like with the T1 and so forth. Okay, so what is the name of the herb used for brain cognitive function? And this is called vinpocetine. Vinpocetine. All right, so let's check in with Karen and Jessica and see how this information is landing. Okay, you guys, what were your things that were coming up as we were talking about all of this?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was just typing a few things into the comment box. Have you received them?
Just go ahead and share them with us because we're really close to the end of the class.
Okay, yeah, so I do get pain in my feet and my toes. I have a bunionette on my right foot, and it's like I can feel energy getting stuck there.
Wow, kudos to Liza. That was a really insightful piece that she sort of added to the discussion.
Yeah,
Great.
so that really resonated, and that's been happening for a while, but I notice a pattern of when I get more stressed, my feet just ache. And I got my tonsils removed when I was 8, tonsils and adenoids, and I also fractured my tailbone after the skull fracture. So I've
Oh
got
my
this
goodness.
compaction from both sides. It's intense. Yeah. Really. Oh, wow, look at me there. Wow. Well, that's nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's like the really taking all that information in and really working with it. And there's a lot of change, positive change going on there. That's wonderful.
Yeah, well, I just find this so fascinating. I mean, my family has been involved in holistic health and natural healing my my whole life. We hated getting sick because we'd have to get colonics, so we'd drink more of our carrot juice at supper, and it's
That's hilarious. Well,
it's
go ahead.
been awesome that Karen introduced us to this, my dad and our clinic. We are in the process of rebuilding our family clinic that we lost from a house fire 2 years ago. And it's the Sweet Retreat in Saskatoon. And we're going to have an Airbnb, and we've got the colon hydrotherapy, the massage, the laser. We do cupping, and I'd really like to bring in the biofeedback because of how beneficial it's been for me, just to give me that biofeedback. So I appreciate the opportunity. And since I've been having this neck nerve pain, I've been seeing a chiropractor weekly, and he told me that my skull is actually jammed onto my spine too tightly.
Oh my
So,
God.
and like the depression, it was a day and night switch after the accident. I was
That
not
makes
a
sense.
depressed person at all, and I have struggled severely. Just, like, because it just threw me so out of whack, and no doctors, no one could figure out how to reharmonize, basically. And this is a technique that I'm really curious about and really have some faith in. So I thank you for taking the time to take a look at me today.
You're very welcome. And Jessica, I think that what we've discovered in the biofeedback session has been very, very valuable. And I believe that you're really entraining a lot of the energies that we're sending your way now. I am ending with some solfeggio frequencies, particularly the 528 for creating miracles. Also the 285, which is about repairing damaged tissue, which I think will be highly beneficial. I do want to check in with you. I'm going to send you an email about the interference fields, and I think implementing some of those clay packs, the mud packs, will be highly beneficial. And we'll just talk a little bit about, I'll make some suggestions about which order to get started in. Sound
Sure,
good?
that sounds wonderful.
We'll
Really,
deal with this. I was going to say the smart meters and stuff up here, and then we'll get all the oils, get the feet, the pan away, get the colonics and everything, and raindrops today.
That sounds really good. Well, I'm sending you both much, much love and appreciation. Thank you both for all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure and an honor to be here today with you.
Oh, likewise, Jessica. Thank you for being part of the class today.
Keep up the great work, and we'll be in touch.
Sounds good. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, so really great cases today, you guys. Thanks so much for Jessica for bringing that wonderful being a volunteer, and we'll be able to get her a lot of positive information. So thanks everyone. Please come back next week, and I really appreciate all that you do to uplift and heal others. Please send interested people to my website awakentotalhealth.com, or email me yourself and say, hey, I've got someone who's interested. And like I said, I'm going to be getting you a lot more resources as an affiliate, and a lot more incentives. So thank you. And looks like the perfect time. She's just responded very, very positively. Much love and many blessings to everyone. Have a great week and see you back next week. Thanks again. Bye-bye for now.